Hello again, internet friends. Welcome back to another episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the workouts are made up and the reps don't matter. This week, I'd like to talk to you about the Murph workout. Most of you guys are probably familiar with this, but if you're not, it's originally a CrossFit workout dedicated to Michael Murphy, a veteran who lost his life in the line of duty. It's essentially a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, followed by another mile run with no rest in between, and it is generally done with a 25-pound weight vest on. Right now, I have several guys that I'm working with that are training to be able to do this workout in its entirety, and so I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been programming things aimed at being able to do this workout quite a bit lately, and so I wanted to share with you some strategies and tips that I think will be useful if you're interested in this workout or something similar to it. If you are the type of person that wants to be prepared for worst case scenarios, this is obviously a very practical workout for you to do or to work up to be able to do, because you're going to be running, you're going to be going through a lot of different ranges of motion with weight on. And the ability to carry your gear over long distances and through many planes of motion is obviously going to be very important in that type of situation. Even if that's not your focus, working up to being able to do a lot of push-ups, a lot of pull-ups, and a lot of squats and run all in close succession is going to do a lot of good for your physique. It's going to burn a ton of calories. It's going to build some muscle if you guys are relative beginners, and it's going to make you a lot healthier and in a lot better shape overall. So, although you definitely don't have to do this workout, I think it's a great workout. I think it checks off a lot of boxes, and it's a good thing to be able to do. So maybe consider working towards it or putting it in your workout repertoire, or as the French say, répertoire. So the first bit of advice that I would give is to break up this workout into individual pieces and segments. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but the biggest thing is just not trying to do it all at once. If you are pretty strong and already in pretty good shape, and maybe you've been doing some running or some workouts with a weight vest on, maybe you can jump into this and it's not going to be a big deal. But for most of you, if you have not prepared for this for at least a little bit of time, it's probably going to beat you up pretty good, and it may take anywhere from a couple of days to even a week or more to recover from. And if you're untrained and not prepared for the workout, it could potentially aggravate some knee pain or arouse some back pain, something like that. So it's definitely something you want to build up to and not just jump in head first with, because of how much volume it is. And it's also important to keep in mind that all of the athletes that are working towards being able to do this workout are also strength training consistently multiple times a week. And so if you're already hitting the gym, you need to consider how you're going to be able to fit this type of training in along with your strength training. Can you recover from it all? How is it going to affect your strength when you go to lift heavy? All those things are important to keep in mind. So the first thing I would recommend is 3 days a week doing something that's geared towards getting you ready to do this workout. Just to give you an example of one of my athletes, on Monday, he does a heavy squat, and so after that, I have him do pull-ups every minute on the minute, and every week we just look to increase the volume of the pull-ups, and we're essentially just trying to get him to be able to do more pull-ups. We're not really worried about trying to do it with a bunch of other exercises and stuff like that, because the pull-ups, especially for bigger guys, are very difficult. So we just need to build up your capacity to do pull-ups essentially. And so he'll do 2 or 3 reps every minute on the minute and just kind of go for as long as he can a lot of the time. And so that's Monday. And then Wednesday, he'll do some 400-meter runs. They're not a sprint, they're not necessarily a slow run, but they're a pretty moderate pace, something that he could handle for several miles if need be. But he's going to run a 400-meter, and then he's going to go directly into a bodyweight exercise, whether it's squats or push-ups or both, kind of as a superset. Just getting his body ready to run and then do exercises immediately after, because obviously that's what we're going to be doing in Murph. And that's going to help not only get your body ready for the demand of getting your heart rate up with the run and then having all the blood pumping and flowing with the calisthenics, it's also just going to get you used to the discomfort of running and then having to do push-ups and bodyweight squats. Anybody who's run consistently knows that once you're done with the run, it's like, oh man, thank goodness I'm done. But no, we now have push-ups and bodyweight squats. And so in doing that, you're going to get your mind ready a little bit, and you're going to learn how to pace yourself so that you're not running too fast, you're not doing the push-ups or bodyweight squats too fast, and then crashing 4 minutes into the workout because you went too hard. And that's going to be a really important element of the training towards this workout, is pacing yourself. And so that's Wednesday, 400 meters, anywhere from 3 to 5 400-meter runs, followed by some type of bodyweight exercise, sometimes supersetted back-to-back push-ups and bodyweight squats. And then Friday or Saturday, we will have him go on essentially a long walk, if you want to call it a ruck. If that makes you feel better, that's fine. He goes on a long walk with the 25-pound weight vest. Again, that's just kind of getting him used to the work that's going to be expected of him during this workout, but not jumping in head first by just trying to run with the weight vest. Now, if you've run with weight on your back before and it's not that big a deal for you, then it's fine. But if you've never done it before, the eccentric load of your feet hitting the floor every second or so with the weight of your body and the 25-pound vest on can be a lot if you're not conditioned to do that type of movement with that type of load and for this level of volume. And so if you haven't been running and you haven't really been, at least going on walks with some type of heavy pack, then I would suggest not just jumping into running with a 25-pound vest right away, at least not for a couple of weeks. And so going on a mile walk at the end of the week with that 25-pound weight vest on is a way for us to get his body ready for eventually running with the weight vest on. It's going to get his feet and his toes and his ankles and his knees and his lower back accustomed to moving at a relatively brisk pace with all that weight on his back, so that we can eventually ease ourselves into running with the weight vest on. And after he goes on that mile ruck with that vest that's going to weigh anywhere from 25 pounds to 55 pounds, he's going to go into some more body weight exercises. And right now we have him doing burpees, lunges, and body weight rows, and some sit-ups as well. Obviously, those movements are not going to be in the workout itself, but we want more training volume with these body weight exercises so that we're not just doing them once a week, because that's not really enough volume to progress. But we also don't want to just bang his head against the wall with squats, push-ups, and pull-ups over and over and over again, because we just started working towards this workout. And if we're doing the same thing for a lot of reps and a lot of sets every single week, not only physiologically is there kind of a point of diminishing returns where the body's just not responding the same because it's used to doing that same type of movement with those high volumes over and over, but also mentally it gets very stale and it gets very boring and it's just not fun to do. And so there's lots of ways that we can do similar movements and still get in a lot of work that's going to build up his work capacity and help him get ready to do this workout, but in a slightly different way. So there's some movement variation. We're challenging him in slightly different ways and keeping it fresh so that it's still fun to train. And so the bodyweight rows are great because you're going to be able to do more reps than you will with pull-ups. And for most people, pull-ups are very difficult. And a lot of times people can only do 1 or 2 repetitions of a pull-up in a set. And so you want to be able to do a movement that's going to still work your grip and your upper back and your arms, but allow you to get in more work, because ultimately that's going to help you do more pull-ups. And if you can only do 1 or 2 pull-ups in an entire workout, then you're not really going to see a lot of return on that. And so the bodyweight rows allow us to get in a lot more volume. With the burpees, it challenges the lower back a little bit more than just a conventional pull-up does, obviously because we're bending over, we're getting down on the floor, then we're getting back up. And it also pushes the lungs a little bit more than a traditional pull-up. If you do a set of 10 push-ups, you're kind of fine afterwards. You might be breathing a little bit, but you're fine. If you do a set of 10 burpees, rep 5 you feel fine, but by rep 10 you feel like you're going to have a heart attack for whatever reason. So it's going to push his conditioning more, it's going to challenge his lower back a little bit more, but still we're working the delts and the triceps and all the pressing muscles. And it's the same idea with the lunges. We're still going to be challenging the legs. We're still going to be working the lower body in that high repetition range capacity, but we're going to be challenging the glutes a little bit more. We're going to be getting in some single leg work so that he can kind of address that weakness. And it's the same line of thinking with the lunges. We're still going to be working the legs in that high repetition range, working on the work capacity of the lower body, but in a slightly different way. We're going to be able to have him do single leg work, which is obviously going to be slightly more difficult than the body weight squats, and he's going to hit the glutes and the hamstrings a little bit more than he would with just a regular body weight squat. So you can take anything that I've said in this video and change it around and organize it how you want. You can do different volumes with the bodyweight exercises. You can do different volumes with the runs. You can mix and match them differently, where maybe you have days where you're just running, days where you're just doing calisthenics, and days where you do them at the same time as like a superset, whatever. You can do these things in a lot of different ways and still have them be very effective. The biggest thing is that you find an amount of volume that you can do throughout the week that's challenging but sustainable. So we're not just trying to do an entire Murph and jump in right away with no preparation. Because ultimately, if you want to be able to do this workout and not have it destroy you for an entire week so that you can't do your strength training in a relatively normal fashion, then you're going to need to take at least a couple of months to build up to the point where you can do all these movements for this amount of volume and with a weight vest on. And that's going to take time. And so we want our training to be pain-free, and we want to not get injured, obviously, so that we can have months and months of productive training sessions. So those are some lessons I'd like you to take away. Even if you're not interested in doing this workout specifically, these are definitely ideas that you can take into really any other type of training and have it help you to be successful. Break things up into pieces. Don't try and do it all at once, because you're probably not in good enough shape and strong enough to do it all at once. And just increase your ability to do these things by themselves. Be able to do more push-ups, more squats, more pull-ups, more running, and spread it out so that you can recover in between sessions, increase your work capacity in each individual movement, and then as time goes on, you'll be able to combine them more and more. The second thing is just remembering to pace yourself. This is an endurance workout. It's a grinding workout, and it's not something that you're going to be able to sprint on. If you look at the top CrossFitters or guys like Alec Blennis who do Murph at like a world record holding level, you'll hear them very often talk about, oh, I went too hot out of the gate, I did these too fast, or I did this too fast, and it wrecked me for the next portion of the workout. And that's just them saying, hey, I didn't pace myself enough. I went too fast and I couldn't sustain that pace. And so that's something, even though it's more of a strategy, it's something that's important to learn. And the last thing is just make the workouts challenging, but make them sustainable. Don't try and jump headfirst into whatever it is you're planning on doing and say, I'm going to do all these push-ups and all these squats, and then the next day you're so sore that you can't walk, and then you can't work out again for like 5 days. Just do a little bit today, and then do a little bit on Wednesday, and a little bit on Friday. And then each week you can add a couple of reps, add a couple of minutes to the runs, and you'll start to build on those little tiny performances that you had in a way that your body's able to recover and adapt to. And that's also going to help improve your chances of not having this wreck your strength training. Because if you're trying to run and do a bunch of endurance stuff while you're strength training, that's going to draw from the same recovery resources that your body needs in order to get stronger as well. So if you're having, I don't want to say low intensity, but moderate intensity workouts where you're not trying to kill yourself and you're just building up your work capacity, that's going to allow you to continue to strength train at the same time. All right, that's it for me. I'm done. I went past 10 minutes on the video again. Someday I'll get a video under 10 minutes, but probably not anytime soon. So thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram, tip your waitresses, and I will see you next time.